Good morning, all my beloved students. Welcome back to our online class. All right. So, how was your day, everyone? I believe you guys have a very wonderful day, right? Good. So, today, are you ready for the class? Of course, I believe you guys are ready for the class. Okay. So, actually, today is the last day of the week, right? Today is Friday. And what do we study on Friday, everyone? Very good. So, we study listening to the news, right? So please take out your book all together, and then we have to, today we are going to study a new unit of chapter 1. Okay, good. So but before going into the new units of chapter 1, I would like to review some of some of the lessons that we learned in the previous week. Okay, so could you tell me what was what was the last lesson that we learned, everyone? Very good. So the last lesson that we learned in the previous week was we focus on what? We focus on sound, right? So what sound did we focus on? Thank you. For example, I say nation. Okay, nation. So in this in this word nation, so what sound that we focus on? We focus on T-I-O-N, right? T-I-O-N, shun, right? Shun. So we have sh plus a and n and n sound, right? So we become shun sound. Okay, good. Can you give me the other words of shun sound, everyone? For example, traditional, right? Traditional. Okay. What else? What else? Conditioning, right? So all these are the words that actually we have the shun sound. All right. Good. And what are what were the other things that we learned, everyone? Actually, in the previous unit, we also learned a lot about the break, right? The vocation. Okay, so actually, I would like to give you some brief, summary of some of the information or the story that we learned in the previous unit. Okay, so the previous unit was about the shorter summer break, right? Good. So for the shorter summer break, most people in America, they want. Especially for the adults, they want to have the shorter summer break. Okay, good. And during the vacation or during the break, some kids they could go to help their parents, their family to harvest the crops or their their plants. Okay, so during that time, people usually have their family. Okay, and how about in Cambodia? Actually, in Cambodia, there are two vacations, or you can say there are two breaks. The first one is short vacation, usually at the beginning of April and until mostly 20th of April. Okay, so normally for the short break, there are around 2 weeks, right? And for the long, okay, or you can say a long vacations, it take about 3 months, right? Normally it starts from July to October. Okay, good. So now today actually we have to go into the other units, okay, which is about what, everyone? So which is about the transforming lives, the transforming lives. Okay, so now everyone, if you have the book with you, please take out your book and turn to page 15 all together. Okay, turn your book and turn to page 15 all together, and then you will see this is the unit 3, and we say transforming lives. Everyone, when you see the word transform, okay, transform. So transform actually to change, right? To change from one thing to the other things. Do you do you ever like have you ever watched a Transformer movie? You can see the Transformer, they change from a car, a normal car to a robot, or like, yeah, a robot. Okay, so the shape, the size are completely different, right? So this is called transform, change from one form to the other form. All right, and look at the our title, the title of the unit. We say transforming life. So what does it mean? Do you have to change your life from one form to the other form? Yes. So in this unit, we are going to talk about the life change. But it doesn't change like you change your clothes, you change your, you know, like your food, but it change your life from your, for example, like from a very low situation to a very high situation, okay? Or to the bad, from the bad to the good, okay? So this we are going to study about the transforming life in this unit, okay? So now let's talk about a little bit. We say we have actually this is a warm-up activity, and I have two things that we are going to talk about. So the first one, we say talk about homeless people. Talk about homeless people. Everyone, do you know what is the word homeless mean? What does the word homeless mean? Do you know what home? Yes, home is a place that you stay, you live, you sleep. Okay, you have family, and you eat there. All right. So this is your home. And how about less? Less, you can say like no, right? Yes. Or you can say less. There is just a little or L. Yes. But when we say homeless, I mean homeless people. I mean people who do not have homes to live. All right. So we say talk about homeless people. Okay. So actually, you know, like around the world, most countries have homeless people. Even that is the developing country or the developed country, there are still homeless people. Okay, you can see like Cambodia is, you know, like is a developing country, or you can say it's a poor country. But for example, like America is a developed country. It's a rich country. Okay, it's a very big country. Do you think that are there homeless people in America? Yes, there are. Okay, there are. So most, we can say like most country, even small or big, even rich or poor, there are still homeless people. Okay, who do not have home to sleep. Mostly they sleep on the bench, for example. They sleep in the garden, in the, you know, like public garden. They sleep on the you know, like on the street. Okay, they sleep on the floor, so they do not have home to stay. All right. And number two, we say where can you see homeless people in your town or city? Okay, so in Cambodia, all right. So suppose that now you are all living in the city, like in Phnom Penh, right? So where do you usually see homeless people? Good. At the market, right? For example. Okay, so for me, I usually see the homeless people at the riverside. At the riverside, yeah. So along the riverside, there are some benches. Okay, so sometimes we can see homeless people sleep on those benches. All right, or at the bank of the river. Okay, and where else? Okay, so you can see like if you go to, you know, like some public place, you will see those people. Okay, good. All right, so now everyone, let's take a look at something. So now we are talking about this. We are talking about the warm-up activity. And before going into the vocabulary, I would like you to read a little bit in the warm-up state here. Okay, so after our warm-up activity, we have to go to this like warm-up descriptions. So all these are some of the information that you need to know. Okay, so let's read all together here on page 15. We say warm up. Think about the topic. Okay, actually we already thought about that, right? We already talked about that. But let's see more. We say there are many homeless people in America. Okay, so you can see here very clear that it says what? There are many homeless people in America, not just only in Cambodia, but America. There are a lot. Most of society doesn't pay much attention to them. Okay, good. In Washington D.C., one man started to help a group of homeless people get a warm meal at breakfast. The program is changing lives, including his. All right. Okay, so actually this is just like the some of the information about the topic or about this unit. All right. So at the moment you can see there's a man. Okay, he start to give food, some meals or some breakfast to homeless people, right? And then they say it changed the homeless people's life, including himself. Okay, so when he helped the homeless people, like get a better life maybe, and then he himself get a better life too. So let's see what is the next story, or what is the story of this man and the homeless people. Okay, so you will listen about that information or that story soon, very soon. Okay, but now before going into the listening or the tract, we have to learn some of the vocabulary which are the the ways to go to the tract. What I mean is all of these words are very important for the listening. Okay, if you get all of these words, it will be easier, or it will be better for you in order to understand like the information, the story in the tract or in the listening, right? Good. So now let's go into the vocabulary altogether, everyone. So the first vocabulary of the day is, we say addiction. Okay, addiction. So addiction function as noun. We say the condition of being unable to stop using drugs or something. Okay, in your book we have only drugs, but no, I'm sorry, we have only using drugs, not something. But I just want to include something, because like for the addiction, when you get addicted with something, for example, you are addicted with drug, so you cannot stop yourself from using it. So this is called the addictions. The other thing, for example, if you cannot stop yourself from doing something, for example, you like to play Facebook a lot, right? You play a lot. You play Facebook almost every time, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hour days. Okay, so this I can say you are addicted to Facebook, right? This is also called the addiction. The other things, you like playing game, online game like Mobile Legends, for example, a lot. You play 4 hours per day. You play 5 hours a day. Okay, so you cannot stop yourself from playing it. If you do not play it, you will feel like anxiety. You will feel like like angry or furious or boring. So what you have to do is to play it. You cannot stop yourself from playing it. So this is called the addiction. You are addicted to the game, right? Good. So not only drug, but also something else. The next word is the word brew. Okay, brew. So brew function as a verb. We say to make a drink like coffee or tea. Okay, brew. So when you brew a coffee, it means like you make a coffee or a tea. by adding, like some hot water or some boiling water into that coffee or tea. So this is called brew. Okay, good. You get that, right? Number 3, we say lay off. Lay off function as here as actually the phrasal verb. Okay, to dismiss an employee, usually because of financial cutback. Okay, cutbacks, right? Again, lay off, to dismiss an employee, usually because of the financial cutbacks. All right. So what does the word cutbacks mean? So cutbacks mean to reduce. Okay, to reduce something. To reduce something to save money. For example, if we will say like to dismiss the employee, it means to cut or to reduce some of the employees or the workers of the company just to save the money. Okay. All right. You got that, right? Because this is the financial. When you got the financial problem, what you have to do is, if you do not want to close your business, you can reduce some of your staff or some of your workers in order to save some money to like to found or to start your business again. Okay. Next one, number 4, we say the word mutually. Okay, mutual. All right. So the word mutual mean share, or you have something the same. For example, like in your in Facebook, you will see some mutual friends, right? So mutual friends right there, it means like the people that is friend with your friend, and you might know each other. Okay, so it will pops up with the mutual friend for you to see whether you know that person or not. Okay, good. All right. So or in this here we will say share, to have something the same. All right. And the last word is the word rehab. Okay, rehab function as noun. We say a program to help people who have an addiction. Okay, a program to help people to have an addiction. So when like when you are addicted with something, it will it will have the rehab in order to help you to stop using that thing or stop using the drug. Okay, so this is called the rehab. Okay, the program or some of the the activity that help you to stop using drug or stop you from addicted or addiction. Okay, good. So again, everyone, today we learn about the word addiction. We have the word brew, lay off, mutual, and we also have the word rehab. So the next activity, what we have to do is, please take out your book again and turn to page 16 and 1. So on page 16, actually we have the note taking as normal, and we say listen to the news and complete the notes. All right, we have some notes here, 5 words, and then we also have some some important points here. So what you have to do is to listen to the track. This is track 7. So listen to track 7, and then you have to choose the notes or the word from the box here in order to complete into the sentence. Okay. So now before going into the listening, I would like to read this for you all together. So we say the first one, problem. Many homeless people in America. The first one, sleep in public places. Some suffer from what? Or mental illness. Some just down on their luck. Okay. Most people walk by, hardly blah 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 them. Okay, so this is the first point. And the other point, solution. Rob Farley began a breakfast program for the homeless. Okay, so Rob Farley here is a homeless person or is the man who have homeless person. So you will know when you listen to the track. Usually 7 or 8 people show up in the morning, provides a warm meal and a chance to to what? Blah blah blah. Up. Form friendships with each other. Okay, this is the second point. And the last point we say results for homeless. Number 4, blah blah blah. Worker is helping of the men find housing. The other one, some have gone to what? Blah blah blah, and are doing well. Okay, good. So now everyone, I think it's time for you to listen to the tracks. All right. So now I give you around like 3 to 4 minutes in order to listen to this track and then completing all the notes. Okay, so please listen.
Unit 3, Transforming Lives.
Washington attorney transforms lives. Millions of people are living in the streets of America's cities and small towns. They sleep on park benches and in subways. Some suffer from addiction or mental illness. Others are just down on their luck. Most people walk by them, hardly noticing them. VOA introduces us to one man in Washington, D.C., who took the time to stop and say hello, and at the same time, transformed his own life. As the sun rises over the nation's capital, Jonathan George begins to stir under his blankets on the steps of Capitol Hill United Methodist Church. Then, Rob Farley, a Washington attorney and member of the congregation, shows up, fresh from his morning run. 2 years ago, people in the neighborhood began to complain about the homeless sleeping on the church steps. So, Rob began to wake up the men each morning and get them moving along. Then, something unusual happened. One of them asked for a cup of coffee.
And I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. But it was cold, so I said, sure, come in and get a cup of coffee. So I brewed a pot.
He explained. Initially, it was just coffee. Then, other homeless men started coming, and coffee grew into breakfast and friendship.
This is where we hang out. We come in, I get the coffee going. Victor is downstairs preparing some soup. And then we get, guys start coming in,
he said. Jonathan George has attended the breakfasts for almost 2 years. George worked most of his life as a building maintenance man. After he was laid off, he became homeless. On any given morning, 7 or 8 people show up for breakfast. Initially, it's a place to have a warm meal and wash up after a night on the streets. But then friendships form. For Rob and the other church members, it was a lesson in why people become homeless and what can or can't be done to get them off the streets.
We have obtained the help of a social worker, Julie Turner, through an organization here in D.C. called the Downtown Cluster of Congregations, and she has been working with us to help folks get into housing,
Farley said. It hasn't been easy, but there have been success stories. Alyssa Lasater is pastor of the Capitol Hill United Methodist Church.
We have had 4 folks that let Rob or me take them to rehab, 2 of whom are still in the process and doing really well,
she said.
Rob says the breakfasts have brought new meaning to his life.
I don't know what they have gotten. Hope they have gotten something,
Farley said.
But we have been able to at least transform me as a person that is more open, more understanding, more humble.
Alyssa Lasater says the transformation has been mutual.
What I am clear on is that people's lives look different, whether that is someone going and advocating for different policies, or whether that is men in this room who have said to me, I believe now I can make a change,
Lasater stated.
Rob and Alyssa are not sure where the breakfast will go from here.
But they have learned that homeless people are as human as anyone else.
Very good. I believe that you guys have done listening and completing all the notes, right? Now let's go and check for the answer all together. Okay. So the first one, number 1. So we also have, the blanks on the whiteboard and also have the words. So what you have to do is to complete the words into the blank. All right. So number 1. Okay, number 1 we say what? Some suffer from what? Social addiction, narcissism, wash or rehab. Very good. So Number 1 is letter B, right? Addiction. Okay. And how about number 2, everyone? Number 2, we say most people walk by hardly what? Hardly what? Hardly letter, oh, I have to cross this one. Letter what? A, C, D, or E? Hardly wash, hardly social, hardly noticing. Very good. Hardly noticing. Number 3, let's see, cross out. Number 3, we say provides a warm meal and a chance to what? To blah blah up, to social up, to wash up, or to rehab up. Very good. To wash up. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Number 4, we say what? Blah blah blah. Worker is helping some of the men find housing. Okay. So we have only the word social and rehab. Is that rehab, everyone? Is that rehab? No. Is that social? Yes. All right. And the last sentence or the last answer is some has gone to rehab. Okay. Some has gone to what? To rehab. To help people from the addiction or to get the to get the service of getting out of the addiction. All right. So we have the word rehab. Okay. So now everyone, I believe we already completing all the answers. All right. So what you have to do next is to do this exercise. Okay. This comprehension question. There are 3 comprehension questions, and each question contains 4 multiple choices answer. All right. So what you have to do is to read all the question and then read all the answer. Choose the best answer for the question. You got that, right? Okay. So do this and send to your home teacher to correct that for you. Okay. So today we have learned a lot, everyone, and I believe you guys have got all the lesson. All right. So I wish you the best of luck, everyone. Goodbye.